What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and in a shocking turn of events, we're hearing that a fourth federal level stimulus check of $1,000 is currently being proposed, and we're hearing it could be making its way to the president as an executive order or an executive action to be passed. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, take a look at the headlines. If you don't believe me, you guys, this just coming out today. Republican representative pushes for $1,000 stimulus to all Americans. Representative Jim Banks appears to want to directly help inflation-weary Americans instead of giving more aid to the war-torn Ukraine. Now, as you guys know, there was a $40 billion bill proposed. It was blocked in the Senate by Senator Ron Paul. Now, from that, we heard Representative Jim Banks say, listen, rather than sending that across the world, why don't we take that money, use it here domestically, and send it out in the form of a stimulus check to help out our own residents as we're currently in this economic crisis. Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but we're hearing that this is beginning to get some traction as we are in a midterm election year, and voters are saying their number one concern right now is dealing with our economy and inflation and seeing how Congress members are going to be addressing this. Let me know your thoughts. But we also have an update for you that Ukrainian bill, it just passed procedures in the Senate. Take a look. Senate advances the $40 billion Ukrainian aid package as it's going to be moving on through the Senate, likely to be voted on and finalized this week. However, this pause by Senator Ron Paul has brought back to the forefront stimulus checks. I'm going to be diving into the articles, giving you the details, but take a look at the video footage of it passing yesterday in the Senate, this procedural vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 368, the nays are 57. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
So there you have it, you guys. That was the Senate yesterday, approving the procedure to move forward and finalize the $40 billion to Ukraine this week. Now, also, as I mentioned, this has sparked more attention towards federal level stimulus checks. And if you missed my last video, you might want to check it out, as we've heard that President Joe Biden is now taking into consideration a new step, a new strategy to make sure that they stay in power and get things done, a three-pronged approach. And one of those is an assortment of executive orders and executive actions that they are preparing to pass. We're going to be seeing if they're going to be including those stimulus checks. And again, if you missed that video, check it out right after this one, coming executive orders and executive actions. But now let's get you caught up on the latest as to what unfolded with the passage of the $40 billion for Ukraine, the procedural vote in the Senate, and also where things stand with $1,000 stimulus checks. We will see if this gets adopted. And if it does, stimulus checks have been incredibly popular. And if they pass something like that, it might persuade voters to keep Democrats in power. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date here on the channel. But you guys, before we dive in, also wanted to mention, consider joining the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finances. Right now, we're hearing our economic situation. It's not good, and it looks like what's on the horizon is not very good either. So I want to help people get some information about getting money, how to keep it, how to earn it. So check out my second channel to learn about growing businesses, or investing in real estate, stocks, cryptos. I'll pin a link down below. Click that comment, go subscribe, turn on notifications. But let's dive into the latest here. And if you appreciate the updates on economic news, don't forget, take a quick second right here on this video to smash that like button. Helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free, why not? It's simple, easy. All you got to do is click that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'll keep you up to speed on everything going on. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop on Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive into the articles and get you caught up on the latest. All right, you guys, so link in the description below to this article that just came out today, and it says Republican representative pushes for $1,000 stimulus to all Americans. Now, you might be wondering, why is it a Republican and not a Democrat? Well, it could be all strategy, as right now, as I mentioned, stimulus checks are extremely popular amongst the American people, and it's very likely we're going to be hearing pushes for stimulus checks to keep people in power in the voting. They're going to want to persuade people that they are for them, and we're going to see if one actually gets passed and gets pushed through. And if it does, whoever is the primary person or individual that's leading that is likely going to get a lot of support. So this is going to be an upcoming strategy. Now, a lot of people are saying it would be better if the main purpose was to try to help out people and not to persuade people to keep individual congressmen in power. However, one way or another, if people need aid, at least they'll be receiving it. Now, also, the objection is, what about adding to debt and inflation? Well, we will see. A lot of people are saying they're trying to figure out ways to make sure that it's paid for. And one way is by using untapped existing funds from previous stimulus packages and reallocating that towards stimulus checks. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date, but let's take a look at this article that says Representative Jim Banks appears to want to directly help inflation-weary Americans instead of giving more aid to war-torn Ukraine. As reported by Newsweek, the lawmakers told Fox News on Friday that the roughly $40 billion in aid that had been approved by the House could instead be tapped into to issue $1,000 to each American. That's $1,000 for every single American, and that is the equivalent of $40 billion, Banks said. And with what's going on with America right now, I'd rather be helping Americans get back on their feet and then sending this money abroad with no strings attached to a foreign country. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. However, Newsweek noted that the cost of giving each American $1,000 would be significantly higher than $40 billion. The population is currently more than 332.6 million according to U.S. Census Population Clock, and that would mean that the cost would be more than 332.6 billion. So yes, if you question the math, you were correct. $40 billion does not equal $1,000 stimulus checks. It equals roughly $120 going out to every person. So we'd probably need about 10 times what they're proposing going out to Ukraine. However, stimulus checks are back into consideration. Now, in addition to that, if you missed my previous videos, you might want to check them out, as they're also calling for gas stimulus checks. In some occasions, they're calling for monthly reoccurring checks. We've even heard calls for baby formula stimulus checks, and people are still asking about those child tax credits. Now, we will see. Provisions are all across the table right now. We're going to see what Congress takes into consideration, what they pass, what's going to be happening in this midterm election year. I'll be sure to keep you up to date. But we are hearing that they are looking to move legislation and quickly. And take a look at this article, you guys. The Senate advanced that $40 billion Ukrainian aid package. Now, the Senate on Monday, yesterday, overwhelmingly advanced a $40 billion Ukrainian aid package that easily passed the House last week, but had stalled in the upper chamber because of the objections of Senator Ron Paul. Now, senators voted 81-11 to end debate on the motion to proceed to the legislation, setting up the final vote of the bill for later this week. It's an important test of Republican support for continued U.S. humanitarian and military assistance for Ukraine after several prominent Republican voices, including President Donald Trump, questioned the size of the $40 billion package. Some Republicans, including Bill Hagerty, announced before the vote that they would not support it. He said, "I certainly don't have anything against the Ukrainians. We want to see them win, but pumping more aid into a country when we're not taking care of our own country. The best thing that President Biden could do is stop the war that he has waged on American industries," he told Sunday Morning Futures. Now, Hagerty said, "I know that there are other senators that are thinking very hard about this right now as well." And Trump issued a statement on Friday criticizing Congress for moving an aid package to Ukraine at a time when parents in the United States are having trouble finding baby formula on store shelves due to the shortage of supply. Now, the Democrats are sending another $40 billion to Ukraine, yet American parents are struggling to even feed their children, Trump said. The assistance package passed with a large majority in the House by a vote of 368 to 57, and Republicans made up all of the no votes. The legislation had been somewhat delayed by debate among Democrats over whether to attach the $10 billion in additional pandemic funding, which is another stimulus provision to help out with vaccines and therapeutics, as they're saying a new wave is coming of the Omicron stealth, and right now we're seeing cases on the incline. Now, Democratic leaders, however, eventually decided to move the Ukrainian money separately to prevent it getting held up by partisan battles, attached to an amendment to limit asylum claims for U.S. and Mexico borders and pandemic relief money. So it looks like the Ukrainian aid is going to be advancing through the Senate. We're going to be seeing what happens with an additional $10 billion for pandemic funding, and also what's going to be unfolding with stimulus checks, gas stimulus checks, child tax credits, and all the provisions that people are asking for, and how Congress will respond to all of it. And whatever unfolds, you guys, I will be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel and let you know the latest. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. As more information rolls out, I'll be sure to let you know what's happening. And if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, totally free, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Why not? I'll let you know everything happening. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRand3, and consider joining that second channel, Steve Rand Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finances right now in these economic times. It's good to know a little bit about how to get some money and how to hold on to it, and I'll do my best to bless you guys with information I've received over the years from multimillionaires that have helped me achieve the financial freedom that I have for myself and my family. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me once again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.